Hopefully, everybody's doing well today, and hopefully, we'll have some good faith, productive conversations. Good afternoon, Kratos. Thanks for the support, Oppo. Yeah, hopefully, I hope it's a great stream as well. Hopefully, we get some folks in who actually want to discuss the topic, right? Actually, want to debate whether or not there's reason to believe in God. We'll see. We'll see if anybody's able to do it. Hey, Bradley Cooper, Himisha, glad to have you here. Oh yeah. I still remember the CIA files. Yeah. Fingers crossed we won't have to hear about the CIA files today. Don't feel like they're going to go very far in giving us reason to believe in God. Okay, here we go. But yeah, hopefully there are some folks who are 18 plus and actually have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in God. Thank you very much for tapping the screen and now that. I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. Definitely appreciate you guys sharing out the live to bring people in. Hopefully help have worthwhile conversations. Very much appreciated. And of course, thank you to the people supporting. Thank you so much. Hey. Thanks, Casey. And Drew and Mikey, Bradley Cooper, Oppo, appreciate you all. But if you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in your God.
Hello.
Hi, Matthias. How old are you?
25.
All right. And what God do you believe in?
I'm a Christian.
Can you do anything about the background noise?
No, is it bad? It's raining outside.
Okay. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Let me check this. Nope. There we go. All right, Bobby, still Muslim?
Yes, good afternoon, little boy. I'm here with a lot of evidence today.
Well, I guess we'll find out. What's the argument or evidence for God?
My evidence is that if you look at a lot of the scientific journals, they corroborate what was said in the Quran.
I don't care. Why would that possibly matter?
Because, like, for example, the splitting of the moon, that was a historical event and it is backed by science.
Obviously not, but even if it was, why would that matter?
Why would it matter? Because it is written in our holy text. And
yeah, I know. I'm asking why that would matter.
Because it would make it true, and no other text has said that. So the ultimate truth.
How could that possibly matter? How could this matter? Stop telling me that it matters and explain to me why it matters.
I just explained it to you.
You didn't explain it. You just said it matters. You just said, oh, well, this would be true in our book, and that would mean God exists. How? How would it mean that God exists? Just because the book says something happened that actually happened doesn't mean the rest of the claims in the book are real. So no, how would it give us reason to believe in God?
Is that all the other claims are real and they are backed by historical evidence.
Okay, let's imagine that there are a bunch of claims in the Quran that are backed by historical evidence. How does that mean that God exists?
Because it is impossible for a book that spans that
okay,
long.
That's the claim. This is the claim you're supposed to be justifying. Stop saying that it would demonstrate that there's a God and that it would have to mean that there's a God, and explain how it would mean that. This is the question you're supposed to be answering.
I think I answered it.
I haven't heard it yet. So what's the reason, if the Quran is correct about things that happened in history and we don't have any other explanation for them, how would that mean that God is the correct explanation and God actually exists?
Because we believe that
I don't care what you believe. Don't tell me what you believe. Tell me why you believe it and why I should believe it.
because Muhammad was illiterate and
I don't
there is
care.
no.
This is not. You're not explaining. I don't know how you don't get this, Bobby.
I
You
get
don't
it,
get it.
Yusuf.
I'm
I
asking
get
you.
it, little boy.
I'm asking you to explain how this would provide evidence for God. Stop saying that it provides evidence for God and start explaining how.
I'm trying to, but you're cutting me off.
I know, because you're not actually explaining how it's evidence for God. You're just demanding that it is. I know
No,
you
no.
think it's evidence for God. I'm asking you to explain that to
I'm
me.
trying to explain that the book itself is evidence for God.
Yeah, I know that's the claim, genius. I've already got that. Explain how it's evidence. I don't know how this is so difficult for you.
I don't know. I really don't know. But
I grant that.
okay, so can I invite you to the Nation of Islam today?
You can invite me wherever you want, but what I need is some reason to think that God exists. Can you provide that?
Your guys in the chat, they're all saying,
I don't care
wow,
about the chat.
Bobby
If you
Time
want to talk
Traveler
about the,
is such a good debater.
if you want to talk
and
to the
he's
chat,
making
then
a
go
lot of
back to the
sense,
chat.
and
Do you have any arguments or evidence?
you know what? I want to talk to the chat today. So
All right, I
have a good-
agree. That's probably more your speed. I don't think that you can actually handle having your views questioned or challenged. Oh, I came up with all this evidence. Uh-huh. Still didn't hear any. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. I love how he had to run away so that he could talk to the chat, and now he's not even in the chat. Hey. Thanks, Poopman Jones. Oh, crap. I forgot. What were we at? Okay. Hold on. We might hit 6K today. That would be awesome. Holy shit. Okay. Bring up the next person here. Hi, Scratch. How old are you?
Hello. I'm sorry. Hold on. I think I'm getting bad audio. Can you guys hear me?
I can't hear you when you're off the app.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yep. How old are you?
All right. Good. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about yeah, 37.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior.
Okay. And then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
To believe in God just really requires prayer, right? So you pray to God and say, I want to be a believer of you. Please show me a sign.
Yep. I
that
just
you
did that yesterday
exist.
and nothing happened. So what's the reason I should believe in a God?
Well, so you don't work on God's time. God works on his time.
I don't
right?
really
So,
care. What's the reason to believe in God?
You don't have to believe in him.
I'm
but
not
if you
saying that
want
I have
pray
to, and
for
I'm
it,
not
right?
asking you to tell me that I have to. I'm asking if there's any reason to believe in God. Is there a reason to believe in God?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of
Okay,
reasons
so
why to
what's a
believe in
reason to
God.
believe that God exists?
Look around you, brother. You think it was
I've
made by
looked
you
around,
think
and everything
nature?
I see tells me that there's no God, so that doesn't help. What's a reason to believe that God
Yeah,
exists?
yeah. Nature itself proves that there is a God, because there's no way that a human being can design something so beautiful and magnificent.
You know
We
that my
are
view
born to
doesn't. You know
destroy.
that my view
We
doesn't
are born
include
to
humans
destroy.
designing nature, right?
What?
You know that my
you think
view.
humans?
You know that my
You think
view
human?
does. You know that my view does not include humans designing nature, right? So you saying that humans can't design nature is not argument against my view. So what you need to do is provide a reason to believe in God that doesn't
No, no, no,
involve
no,
you
no, no, no,
knocking
no, no,
down
no, no,
some
no, no, no,
worldview that
no.
I don't believe in. So what's the reason
No,
to
no, no,
believe
no,
in
not
God?
exactly. Well, see, that's the difference. If you choose not to be a believer,
Okay,
you're
so I'm
never
going to
gonna
ask
get
one
it.
more time. If you cannot provide any arguments or evidence that would give a
I
reason to
don't
believe in God,
understand
then
why
I'm
you
just
feel
going to move
uncomfortable.
on. So what would be the argument or evidence that would provide a reason to believe in a God?
Well, one is the Bible, right? So this is a starter. So if
Okay,
you want
how
to
does
start
the
with the
Bible provide a
Bible,
reason to believe in God?
it gives a historical context of what occurred, right? So it's different
No, that's
stories.
the claim. Why
Different
should I
people
what
telling their story.
Let's imagine that all the historical claims in the Bible are true. Why should I believe in a God?
So here's the thing. I can't tell you how a vacuum cleaner works, but I
Okay,
can
so I'm
describe
going to ask the
how it
question
does,
one more
how it
time, and if your
functions.
response doesn't actually give me any substance to work with,
You're
I'm just
not
going to
you're
move
not
on.
interested in
So
engaging
what
in
would
a
be a reason
conversation
to believe
because
in the God?
so you would need a note from God saying
Okay,
God was
so since you don't have anything, I'm just going to go ahead and move on. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, please make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. No, not taking friendlies, just doing debates with folks who believe in God. Hi, Andrivian, how old are you?
I'm 40, man.
Okay, and what God do you believe in?
Well, it's kind of a long story.
I don't want
And if
stories.
you want
Just
to
tell me what
chat-
God you believe in.
Oh, Jehovah.
Okay, so you're Christian?
Yeah.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Because I talked to him.
And how do you know that you're correct in your interpretation of your experience, that you are actually talking to God?
See, there's no... I think in this world we
So what was the
do
method
not
that you
find-
used? What was the method that you used to determine that you're correctly interpreting your experience when you think that you're talking to God?
Well, because God, like...
So
came
what was the
into my
method that you
life.
used that allowed you to determine that you're correctly interpreting your experience?
Oh, that's what you're asking. Okay.
Yeah, the question that I asked 3 times now, that's what I'm asking. Correct.
Well, it's because I can hear him.
Yeah, and how do you know that it's actually God and that you're not mistaken?
Because I see the designation.
Yeah, that would be what you would also think if you were mistaken. So how did you determine that you're not mistaken?
Well, there's always this kind of stuff going on. And
So how did you determine that you're correctly interpreting your experience?
because I can feel
Yeah,
where
that's
he's
what you
coming
would
from.
that's how you would feel even if you were incorrectly interpreting your experience. So for the last
Well, I'm
time,
not
how did
going
you
down,
determine
I'm
that you're
going up.
correctly
I'm not
interpreting your
talking to
experience?
Satan or anything.
Okay, but I'm going to ask one more time. If you do
Okay.
not give a response that includes the method that you used to determine that you correctly interpreted your experience, then I will just take it as a concession that you're delusional. So what was the method you used to determine that you're correctly interpreting your experience?
Well, it's nothing I used.
Okay,
But
I
there
agree that you're delusional. Thank you for the concession. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, how old are you? All right. Hi, Bang, how old are you?
Hi, I'm 39.
Okay, and what God do you believe in?
I believe in Allah.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide reason to believe in a God?
So I believe in Allah because there are a lot of revelations in the Quran that make sense to me and makes me believe that Allah is real.
Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. What's a reason that a rational person would believe in a God?
Okay, so let me give you one example if you don't mind. So there are some revelation in the Quran that aligns with recent discoveries.
I don't
Like
care. I
scientific
don't care. I don't care.
You don't care about scientific discovery?
No, what I don't care about is you claiming that there is some consistency between something claimed in the Quran and some scientific discovery. What I care about is the connection between whatever you're talking about and believing in God. Let's imagine that there are things in the Quran that accurately predicted future scientific discoveries. How would that give us a reason to believe in a God?
Yeah, because if God can give us that revelation 15
No, that just assumes that God exists. You can't say, well, because God gave us the revelation. Yeah, the whole question is, why should I believe that a God exists in the first place?
That is an indication that he exists.
No, that's your claim. Your claim is that it's an indication God exists. I'm asking you to substantiate that claim.
Okay, hold on 1 second. There is a verse in Surah Al-Rahman.
Okay, so here's what's happening right now. Here's what's happening. No, you're not understanding. I'm gonna put the argument on the board here, and you're gonna. And this is hopefully gonna help. The argument that you're giving is if there are correct scientific predictions in the Quran, then God exists. There are correct scientific predictions in the Quran. Conclusion, God exists. What I'm asking you to do, I understand this is your argument, and then you want to support this premise right here that there are correct scientific predictions in the Quran. I'm not asking you to support this part. I'm asking you to support this part. The claim that if there are correct scientific predictions in the Quran, then God exists. That's the part that I want you to support. So what is the justification for that claim?
Okay, so I will refer to the Quran, right?
No. No, if you're referring to the Quran, you're not answering the question. So answer the question.
How would you want me to give you a substantial evidence without referring to the Quran?
Do you understand the question that you're supposed to be answering right now?
Yeah.
What's the question that you're supposed to be answering right now?
That God exists.
No. No, specifically, what is your burden in the dialectic right now?
What is what? Say that again.
What is your current burden in this conversation? What is the thing that I'm asking you to substantiate?
You want me to substantiate that God exists?
No.
Okay, so what? So, okay, no.
I explained it to you. I put it up on the screen, and I even highlighted it for you.
If there's correct scientific predictions in the Quran, no, these are not even predictions. These are revelations.
Yeah,
okay?
The claim is that they're revelations, but that assumes that God exists. That's what I'm asking you to substantiate, buddy. What is the reason? What is the reason to think? What is the reason to think that correct scientific information in the Quran is evidence for God? Why should I think that's evidence for God?
Because if somebody listen to me, I just want you to listen to me for 1 minute.
Stop talking about it and just give me the fucking answer.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I know it's so difficult when someone asks you to actually support your position.
You want me to listen to you, right?
No, I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to explain why it is evidence that God exists if there are scientific accuracies in the Quran. How is that evidence for God?
It is because
it is. Oh, it's evidence for God because it is. Well, I got bad news for you, my friend. The fact that grass is green, that's actually evidence that God doesn't exist. And if you ask me how that is evidence God doesn't exist, well, I'll just tell you that it is. It just is.
Okay. So listen to me for 1 second, okay?
Well, do you agree that the grass is green?
Of course, grass is green.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you agree that grass is green, and I've just established that grass being green is evidence that God doesn't exist, so you must agree that God doesn't exist.
No. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Don't talk like that.
If the grass is green, then God doesn't exist. Grass is green, therefore God doesn't exist.
Just give me 60 seconds.
No,
okay?
no, here's what we're going to do. We're going to
seconds.
put it up on the screen here since this seems to be the only way that you can follow along. If grass is green, then God doesn't exist.
No.
Grass is green, therefore God doesn't exist. Look at that. And since you think that we don't need to support conditionals like this, or that the only support needed for a conditional like this is it just is, well, then this must be a good argument that God doesn't exist. Do you now believe that God doesn't exist?
God exists, for God's sake.
Oh, so are you saying that I would actually have to support this conditional in order for the argument to work? Are you saying that I would have to show the connection between grass being green and God's non-existence in order for this argument to work?
I don't even need you to prove that. But
do you think that if I can't demonstrate that this is true, the argument fails? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. That's what I'm telling you about your argument. Because you can't substantiate this, your argument fails. So give me the reason to think that this is true.
Okay, so 1 second. Give me 60 seconds.
No, answer the fucking question.
I want to answer, but you need to listen.
All right, I'm going to ask you one more time, and if you say anything other than demonstrating the truth of that claim, I'm just going to move on. What is the reason to think that scientific accuracies in the Quran are evidence for God?
All right, so there are so many ways to look at this, okay? Existence of man
No, we're not
right?
talking about the
We
existence
don't
of man. You're
listen.
supposed. Okay, you know what?
Listen.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I'm
just
being
need
too
to
harsh on you.
listen.
Yep.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
you're
if you
100%
don't wanna
right. Give me.
listen,
Yep. You're 100.
I can leave. It's
Yeah. No,
okay.
you're
If I'm not
100%
gonna
right.
listen, I'll
I'm going to
leave.
give you 2 full minutes, and you can get it all out. I won't interrupt you. You got 2 full minutes. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so
All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Oh yeah, that's definitely a DZ thing. Yeah, if you can't just support your claim, then I have no idea why you think I would accept it. It doesn't seem like Breezy's connecting. All right, if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, please make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Oh, fuck, we did it. 6,000. We got over 6,000 followers here on TikTok. That's fucking awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. I wasn't even paying attention. Thanks for pointing it out, Jason DeBateman. That's huge. Unfucking real. I cannot believe it. I don't even know what to think at this point, where it's going to end up. But hey, I'm very happy to be at 6K, and maybe we'll get to 10K. Actually, I don't know. That would be fucking wild. But thank you so much, everybody, for the support. Appreciate you immensely. Thank you to oh my goodness gracious, Mikey, KC, Drew, KC, Christina the Godless. Thank you, Black and Yellow Diary. Lou, appreciate you very much. Tiny Science, thank you so much. Poopman Jones, love you, appreciate you. I'm not sure what this one is. Roro Toto, thank you very much. John F, appreciate your support. Poopman Jones, Black and Yellow Diary. Dabnese, thank you. Owly, appreciate you so much. Bradley N, thank you. Pulka Gurumi, Isserly, Lou, Dabnese, Liz, glad to see you here. Thank you so much. Alan, Dabnese, Nick, Oppo, Lou, appreciate you. Lupine, I'm glad you've got a moment to hang out, and I appreciate you being here and supporting. Lou, thank you so much. Poopman Jones, appreciate it. Liz, thank you so much for all the support. Really appreciate you, hanging out, supporting, watching, all that. Thank you. Pay to Win, thank you so much. Lou, Liz, again. Okay, I have to remember what this is. Roro Toto, thank you so much for the support. And again, Lupine, appreciate you. Thank you for being here and for supporting. I'm flattered that you've found the time to hang out here. Okay, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification for your God belief. Okay. I always forget to take notes, and then I come back later and like, oh shit, what was that conversation about? Hi, Evan. How old are you?
I'm 18.
And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the God of the Bible, Jesus Christ, but I'm not here to debate about him. I'm here to debate about God, a deity, in general.
Sure. What's the best argument or evidence that would give us a reason to believe in a God?
Right. So for me, it came down to one question, and it was which of these 3 possibilities explains the existence of the universe. It's either God created the universe came from nothing, or the universe always existed. From your standpoint, I believe the first one is out of the question completely because you don't believe in God. So which one of the 2 would it be? The universe came from nothing or the universe always existed that you personally believe in?
What do you mean by always existed?
It requires an actual infinite past.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. Then if that's what you're saying, then I reject all of your options.
Right. So then, what other option would you believe in?
Yeah, I would believe in like a beginningless block theory universe, like B theory, an eternalist universe. Doesn't necessarily have to have an infinite timeline. Could have a first moment and a last moment, but it would be beginningless. It wouldn't come into existence, so it would not need a creator.
Right. Could you explain that? So something was there, but it's beginningless, but it hasn't always existed?
No, that's not what I said. I said that it has doesn't necessarily have an infinite timeline, but never came into existence. It exists necessarily, and therefore it doesn't need a creator. In the same way that you think your God just necessarily exists and therefore it doesn't need an explanation for his existence, that's what I would say about the universe. It just necessarily exists and doesn't need an explanation for coming into existence because it never came into existence.
So how could something not come into existence yet just exist? I mean, there has to be a starting point.
So you're saying that anything that exists must have a beginning to its existence?
Not unless it's infinite. That's where the universe coming in being infinite would come in.
No, I disagree. Is God in time?
No, God is not bound by time.
Sure, so God doesn't have an infinite timeline because he's not in time, right?
Right, he's always existed.
Right, so exactly. So God doesn't have an infinite past, and yet he didn't come into existence and doesn't need a creator. I can say that about the universe. It doesn't need to have an infinite past. It did not come into existence, and it doesn't need a creator.
Right, God has had an infinite past, though.
No, you just said God isn't in time, so he doesn't have a past. If
Well,
God has a past, then he's in time. If he's in time, he didn't create time. If he didn't create time, he's not ultimate. But if God exists, he is ultimate. Therefore, that God wouldn't exist. So you can't.
Right.
If as soon as you say God's in time, you've defined your God out of existence.
God is not bound by time. He has always existed. To the human mind, we apply the time factor.
I don't care about human minds applying time factor. Is God in time? Yes or no?
God is not bound by time. No.
I didn't ask if God is bound by time. Is God in time? Does he experience the
That
passage
is-
of moments? Yes or no?
Yes, God does.
Oh, so God. Okay, cool. So then we're just going to go ahead and put this up on the board here. We're going to say if God exists, he is ultimate. If God is in time, he is not ultimate. God is in time, so God doesn't exist. What do you reject?
Well, it'd be the rejection of God as eternal, which means he has no beginning or end.
Which 1, 2, or 3? Which do you reject?
If God exists, he is ultimate. Yes. If God is in time, God isn't in time.
Oh, so God is not in time.
No, God is eternal.
Oh, fantastic. So you just said God is in time, and now you're flipping to God is not in time. So now that God's not in time, we can say that since you think that a thing can exist without a time, like it doesn't have its own time, it doesn't experience time, it doesn't need a beginning or a creator, and that's a perfectly fine way for something to exist, I just say that about the universe. The universe doesn't itself experience time. It doesn't have a beginning of its existence. It never came into existence. It doesn't need an infinite past, and it also doesn't need a creator.
Right. The difference there would be that God is eternal, but
yeah, the universe is eternal. Yep, that's what I'm saying. In the exact same way that atemporal eternality, that's what I'm saying the universe has. If you can make that move for God and say God is atemporally eternal and therefore never came into existence and doesn't need a creator, I will just say the same thing about the universe. If that's a valid move for you to make for God, it's a valid move for me to make for the universe. Unless you can point out some problem.
Exactly. There is a very distinct difference between God is eternal, which means he has no beginning and end. The universe is temporal. It has a sequence of past events, present events, and will be future events. God, therefore, doesn't have a past in the sense of...
Yeah, you don't understand what I'm saying, Evan. I'm saying that even though, just like...
I'm saying.
I am understanding what you're saying. The problem is that you don't get the type of universe I'm talking about. I'm talking about like a block universe that exists necessarily without beginning or end. Even if the timeline of that universe has a beginning and an end, the universe itself never comes into or goes out of existence. The passage of time is subjective. So it's not an objective thing. The universe doesn't experience the passage of time.
So it's eternal.
Yes. But not temporally eternal. Just like you said, God is outside of time but eternal. I'm saying that about the universe. It is atemporally eternal. Time is merely a one of the dimensions of the universe. It's an axis along which change happens.
Right, so the universe has always existed.
Without it coming into existence, correct. Therefore, it doesn't need to be brought into existence. Therefore, it doesn't need a creator.
Exactly, so that's where we come
right,
into...
so the universe does not need a creator. Therefore, there is no God.
No, I'm going to disprove how the universe cannot have always existed. It's a simple mathematical term. Do you know what a absolute infinity is?
We're not talking about anything being infinite, genius. I said it's not temporally infinite. There's a first moment, and there's a first moment.
It has to be infinite.
No.
If something goes on forever, that means
No,
it's infinite.
you said that God is atemporally eternal, right?
God is eternal, not
Without
bound by time.
Right, correct. So God is outside of time and eternal, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying about the universe. The universe itself is outside of time and eternal. It does not have a beginning or an end.
Right. Are we inside the universe right now?
We are inside the universe, but the universe itself isn't inside the universe.
Are we bound by time?
We're bound by time, but the universe isn't bound by time.
Wait, how is that possible then? Could you explain that to me?
Yeah,
If we-
the same way that it's possible for
bound by time.
God.
No, but God isn't in the universe.
I know, neither is the universe.
So the universe isn't inside the universe?
Correct, you got it.
You sound like a crazy man.
Oh, I know, it's so crazy to say that the universe isn't inside the universe. Do you think that my house is inside my house?
The universe
Is my
your
house inside my house?
No, your house is your house.
Oh,
So if you're in
exactly.
your
That's
house-
right. My house isn't inside my house. It is my house. In the same way, the universe is not inside the universe. It is the universe. So there's a
you're inside your
timeline
house,
inside the
you're
universe,
bound
but
by
the universe
time.
itself doesn't experience time.
If you're in your house and you're bound by time, therefore your house is bound by time as well.
No.
Okay, then prove me the facts that show that it isn't.
No, what I'm telling you is the same move that you get to make for God. God exists outside of time without beginning or end, and therefore doesn't come into existence and doesn't need a creator. I'm saying the same thing about the universe. So you thought that you could come in here and give this trichotomy that you think that, oh, it has to be past infinite. No, it doesn't have to be past infinite to have always existed. So you need to give me some reason why it can't be atemporally eternal.
Right. Sir, all right, I mean, we can keep this respectful. That'd be great. If we are
Yeah, as soon as you start acting with respect, I'll do the same. And
When am
what
I
you
not
need to
gonna
do
respect
in order to act respectfully is to actually engage in the substance. Stop running away. Stop trying to say that I
Alright.
believe things that I've clearly said that I don't believe, and actually engage in the substance of what I'm saying. I'm saying that the universe exists atemporally, eternally, in the same way you think God exists atemporally, eternally. There's no problem for God to exist that way, so there's no problem for the universe to exist that way.
So you're saying if we're in the universe and we're bound by time, the universe isn't bound by time.
I'm not saying that that's connected.
Right. Well, in any modern physics, the universe is bound by time.
Nope.
They're combined
Source?
into space-time. Matter
Source?
and energy affect the geometry
Source?
of space-time.
Source?
What's
the source?
Science book.
Oh,
What's
just
the
any
source?
science book. Okay, well, I can pull the same move. Any science book you read is going to tell you that you're wrong. Cool. Now what?
Right.
Notice
If we are
how we can say
interacting-
anything if you don't have to back up your claims?
If I'm
So
trying
how
to
about you
back-
actually back up your
Look,
claim then?
I
Okay,
think
cool.
those-
Give me the source that modern physics says that the universe is temporal itself.
Right here. I'm the source. I'm telling you right here.
Yeah.
If we are-
Okay, cool. Well, I'm the source telling you that you're wrong. So now what do we do?
Can I prove you really, really quick and see if it's wrong then?
Provide
Can I
the
just-
source. Provide the source.
What do you mean provide? I'm just speaking from my own knowledge.
Oh, from your own knowledge. Oh, cool. Well, I'm just so glad that we get to use our own knowledge as sources, because from my own knowledge, it does work that way. Now what? Now what do we do?
We're inside the universe. We experience time as part of space-time.
Mm-hmm.
The universe itself has a temporal dimension. Therefore, the physical universe is not something that simply exists independently of time.
That's the claim. What's the support for that claim?
I had to learn it somewhere.
Well, since I believe it, it must be true. You know that's not support for your claim, right? If I believe it, therefore it's true, is a good enough reason or good enough way to support a claim, then I'll say I believe there is no God, and I wouldn't believe it if it wasn't true. Therefore, there is no God.
Right. To prove means to prove means to show there cannot be another way.
Okay.
And your
so
claim
here's what
here
we're
is
doing.
God
Here's
isn't
what we're
real.
doing.
Well, can you prove to me that God?
Ogar believes that there is no God. Ogar wouldn't believe a thing that isn't true. It is true that there is no God. Cool. So since we get to use your logic that just saying I wouldn't believe it if it wasn't true makes something true, it must be true that there's no God, right?
Right. To
Oh,
prove
cool.
means
Well,
to-
now welcome to atheism.
No, to prove means to.
We got him. He agrees that there is no God. All right. All right. A weak version of the Elliot argument. All right. If you are in the guest queue or you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Yes, I do sometimes have conversations about my own positions. They just don't come up very often. Hi, Jesus. How old are you?
21.
And I assume you're Christian?
Yes.
All right. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Yeah, I'll just say it's logic, physics, philosophy, and history. They all support each other.
Yeah, pick one and explain to me how it gives us reason to believe in God.
So let's talk about the logic first. So I can give you a syllogism really quick.
Okay.
Okay, so let M, just define my terms. So let M stand for the proposition.
No,
that
we're not.
maximally
No, we're not
great
doing
being
this.
exists.
No, we're not doing this. Just give the argument.
Okay, P1, it is possible that a maximally great being exists. P2, if it is possible that a maximally great being exists, then it's necessarily true that a maximally great being exists.
It isn't necessarily true that a maximally great being exists. This is just like the modal ontological argument.
Yeah, so it is possible that a maximally great being exists. If it is possible that a maximally great being exists, then it is necessarily true that a maximally great being exists.
Okay.
And then conclusion 1, from P1 and P2, therefore it is necessarily true that a maximally great being exists. It's modus ponens.
Mm-hmm.
So if P1 is true, it is possible, then NP2 is true. If possible,
What's
then
the rest of the
necessary, then
syllogism?
P1 follows. Okay, yeah. Well, I was just gonna give you the simpler version. Yeah, P3. If something is necessarily true, then it is true in our actual reality. Conclusion 2. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. A maximally great being exists in our actual world.
Yeah. So, okay, that was extraneous. We already got there with conclusion 1. Is there more?
Well, I wasn't done. So yeah.
Right. Well, I'm just saying
again,
that
modus
third
ponens.
premise and the second conclusion are completely unneeded. Like, you already got there with the first conclusion. Just adding that third premise and second conclusion literally adds nothing to the argument. So is there
I
more?
wasn't done. Yeah, so M, so the conclusion is M, okay? And M just means a maximally great being exists in our actual world. So since we have established box M, and since box M implies M, by modus ponens again we conclude M, that the maximally great being exists in our actual reality.
Oh, so what you're doing now is you're just going to keep looping and saying the same thing over and over again, or what?
No, it's fine, we can just move on. So what do you have so far?
Well, you only gave a two-premise argument. It's possible that a maximally great being exists. If it's possible a maximally great being exists, then it's necessarily true that a maximally great being exists. It's necessarily true that a maximally great being exists. But in fact, this isn't valid because you're just not doing modal logic correctly. You would need to fix the first premise.
So I can make sure that they're right. I don't think you put them right. It is possible that a maximally great being exists. This is necessarily true. Let's see. Is necessarily true. No, if it is possible that a maximally great being exists.
Yeah, that's what this means.
No, it says it is necessarily true.
What?
What'd you say?
Premise 1, it is possible that a maximally great being exists.
I see.
Premise 2, if it is possible that a
implies-
maximally great being exists, then, this is
Then,
entailed from 1.
that
That's your
implies-
claim.
My bad, yeah. Then it's necessarily true that a maximum great being exists. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. But this doesn't follow.
It is necessarily true that a maximum
This doesn't follow.
being exists. But yeah.
Yeah, this
Okay,
doesn't
what premise
follow.
you reject? Why?
I reject the inference.
This is modus ponens. You reject modus ponens?
No, I reject the modal logic that you're trying to do here because you don't have the correct modal operators for this to follow.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense. You're
make
trying
any
to do
sense.
modal logic and you're
Okay.
doing it wrong, and so I reject it because you don't
No.
have the modal operators correct.
You need to reject the premise.
I am rejecting the move from premise 1 to premise 2 because the modal operators don't follow. It doesn't work that way. You would need to change the
Okay,
modal
so what
operators
is
in
your
order for the
contention
second
with
premise
premise one?
to work. So I'm rejecting premise 2.
So you're rejecting premise 2.
Yep.
What's your contention with premise 2? So you're saying
I'm saying the consequent doesn't
it's
follow
not
from the
possible.
antecedent.
Wait, are you saying that the concept isn't possible?
I'm saying the consequent does not follow from the antecedent.
So you're saying that if it is, so I'm saying that if it is possible that a maximum great being exists, then it's necessarily true.
Yeah, that's your claim, and I'm saying that doesn't follow.
Yeah, it does, because if it's
No, it
great,
doesn't.
it don't have to exist in all possible worlds.
No. You don't have
Yeah.
you don't have the modal operators correct, my guy. You need
My
to fix the argument.
justification-
I mean, do you need me
You
to
want
fix
the
the argument for
justification?
you?
Do you want the justification? I'm confused.
No, there is no justification. The only way that you can fix this
Yes,
is
there
to
is.
fix the modal language. That's the only way you can fix
If
this.
it's possible, so wait, if it is possible the maximum great being exists in, yes or no, is it necessarily true that it exists in all possible worlds? Yes or no?
No, because you haven't
Okay,
you
so
fucked up the modal operators.
So it's limited. So it's limited. Okay.
Yeah, you fucked up the modal operators. And I was about
No,
to
I
fix it
didn't.
for
I didn't
you,
do
and you won't
anything.
let me. So I guess we're just going to deal with a fucked up argument. Can you fix it, or are we just done?
I didn't mean anything. You're just not understanding the argument.
So are you just? I do understand the argument. The problem is that you don't understand modal logic. Here's the thing. I'm not very good with modal logic. I don't know hardly anything about it, but I know at least enough to know that this argument doesn't work. I offered to fix it, and you didn't want
it
me to.
does.
So I guess now you're fucked. So do you want to fix
don't
it, or
need to.
you just
There's
don't
nothing
want to
wrong with
discuss it?
No, a maximally great being. So wait, what premise are you rejecting?
Premise
Just so we
2.
can be clear. Okay, premise 2. So you're rejecting that if a maximally great being is possible, then it doesn't necessarily exist in all possible worlds. That's what you're disagreeing with?
I am disagreeing with that. Yes, I'm disagreeing that
So you're
condition
saying
will
that-
obtain
you're
is
saying
correct.
that if a maximally great being is possible, you're trying to tell me that it's not going to necessarily exist in all possible worlds. So you're telling me that a maximally great being would be limited to only a certain amount of possible worlds?
I'm telling you that the logic doesn't follow. You have fucked up your modal logic, so this
No,
this
I
conditional
didn't.
doesn't follow. It is possible for the antecedent to be true and the consequent to be false, so I'm rejecting the premise on that grounds.
So if it's possible for a maximally great being to be true, then wouldn't it automatically entail that that maximally great being exists in all possible worlds?
No.
Okay, it depends on what I define as a maximally great being. So let me define. So I'll define.
No,
like, a maximally great being
it comes
as
down
all-powerful.
to it comes down to having the modal operators correct, and clearly you aren't able to fix that.
It comes down to the
So
definition.
I'm just going to go ahead and move on. Just for anybody who's curious, there's literally only one word that would be needed to fix this. Literally one word. That would have fixed it. That's all he had to do. How hard would that have been? But because he's trying to LARP and pretend to know things about logic and philosophy, he has no idea how to give an actual argument. And then, of course, the argument doesn't work because, you just run the reverse modal ontological argument. Oop, wrong button. Run the reverse modal ontological argument, and that argument just fails. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, please make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Oh, that was Matt? That was Matt GPT? That is hilarious. Well, then I wasn't nearly mean enough to him. That is hilarious. I don't know why I didn't realize that was Matt GPT. Yeah, he keeps making new accounts so that he can get crushed on each one. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Is MJ going to join? Oh, apparently not. MJ. Okay, clearly not joining. I'm going to go grab a bottle of water. I will be right back. All right. Well, the fridge is like right over there. Well, I actually have a mini fridge, but it's not plugged in currently. What I need to do is move my mini fridge over here and plug it in, and then I could have water even closer. I wouldn't even have to get up. Okay. Let me hydrate. I know, I got to plug it in. Well, first I got to clean it out, and because it's been sitting for a while. I mean, it's not like it's got anything in it, but sitting there unplugged probably needs some cleaning. Anyway, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Fridge cleaning does not sound fun. Hi, T1204, or excuse me, T120704. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the Christian or Abrahamic God. If that's a definite answer.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in God?
I believe in moral absolute, like that there is absolute right and wrong morals, and we are given that through value, and that value comes through a higher God or a higher being. Like, I believe you have such a unique value that there's no other way that there can be a God, but that value is placed in you from someone above that you can't really make value from yourself.
Yeah, what's the support for the claim?
Let's say this. Can we throw in hypotheticals so you can see a scenario kind of?
Are you driving?
All right. Just a little bit. I'm pulling over right now. It's just going to Subway.
All right. We're not going to do that. Come back when you're not driving. All right. All right. If you are, yeah, I'm only driving a little bit, just a little bit, breaking terms of service. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Hello, Hart. How old are you? Hello? 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 Okay. Hi, Casanova. How old are you?
Me? I'm 25. What's going on, man?
Hi, and what God do you believe in?
I believe in the Christian God.
Cool. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
Well, just how things are. Everything has a beginning and end. So before that, something has to exist before something else has to exist.
Okay, so you're saying everything has a creator?
In a way.
Are you driving?
No, I'm not driving right now in the moment.
What's all that road noise then?
That's the air conditioner, man. It's hot.
Yeah, I can hear that you're driving. All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. 2 drivers in a row. He's only driving a little bit. Let me... Oh, do one of these. All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Hi, Zoe, how old are you?
20.
And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the Christian God.
Can you do anything about the background noise?
What's the background noise? Fan? Is it loud?
Yeah. And like water, and now it sounds like a bird chirping.
Hold on, let me take my AirPods off. Alright, yeah, how does it sound?
Yeah, it's worse.
It sound better?
It's worse.
It's worse?
Yeah.
Alright, come on, bro. No, but yeah.
Now I don't hear the water, I just hear people talking.
Alright, bear with me, bro.
What God do you believe in?
Yeah.
Which God do you believe in? All right, fair enough. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. What is happening today? I've definitely gotten guests that sounded like they were in the bathtub before. It's not my thing. All right, clearly that person's not connecting. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support. Oh, geez. Blue Tiger Gum, Mikey, thank you so much. Miss Janie, Left Leaning Infantry, glad to see you back again. Thank you for the support. Trev373B, appreciate it. Queen Laquifa, love it. Thank you so much. Blondie. Oh, that was cool. JJ, thank you. Production Room, Neurospicy Cat Lady, thank you so much. KC for the Spartan helmet, thank you so much for that. Albert with the money gun, appreciate you immensely. Thank you for that. And then 3 Pips, thank you so much. And Bertram for the hearts. That was awesome. Hey, fuck yeah. Thanks, Gray Eye, for the Spartan helmet. Makes me want to go see Odyssey again, honestly. All right, if you're in the guest queue or you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Yep, we hit 6,000 today. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, the Odyssey was great. Okay. Hi, Ram. How old are you?
I am 19 years old.
And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the Kuma.
I'm sorry?
The Kuma.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, I'd like to answer some questions.
So, what's the God you believe in?
The Kuma.
Yeah.
The Almighty Kuma.
Just saying something that I already told you I don't know what it means isn't going to help me.
Well, I was thinking that you were going to ask a question about, like, what it is.
Why do you need me to ask questions? I'm asking you to tell me about what God you believe in. Why do I need to ask more questions for you to just tell me what God you believe in?
But I already told you.
Okay. I'm telling you that I don't know what that is. So, what is the God you believe in?
Akuma. He's the divine, all spiritual, all natural, Sumakum Laka, Asikan as well.
Okay, so you're just not going to say anything? All right, fair enough. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Was Hindu? Okay. I mean, I guess he could have said that. I don't think he said Quran. What's up, Sober?
What's up, man? I just wanted to come up and let you know I'm not in my car right now.
What are you doing? Hey, you can't park there. Somebody mentioned earlier that scene that Elliot Page had in the Odyssey. When he only showed up at the beginning, I was Blondie. When he only showed up at the beginning, I thought that was going to be it. I didn't think he was going to show up again. And then he shows up at the end, or not end, but that one spot. Oh my God, that was amazing. Amazing. Well, I hope I don't get a violation. But okay, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Yeah, sober, you can't park there. No, I'm with you, Blondie. I thought he was fantastic in that scene. Okay, hi, Purple Worm. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 20.
And what God do you believe in?
I believe in Jehovah.
Do you want to just get the bit out now, or?
Do I want to get the what out?
The bit? You want to do your troll, or should I just move on?
I have evidence.
What God?
I said Jehovah.
Okay, so you're Christian?
Yes, I'm a Jehovah Witness.
Okay, and what's the argument or evidence for God?
Alright, well, when you read the Bible in Genesis... Hold on.
Yeah. Couldn't even get the troll out. If you're gonna do a bit, commit to it. Do the bit, you know? Okay. I can't say that I know a ton about Jehovah's Witness. I know a little bit about it, but certainly not an expert on it. But yeah, if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and have some kind of argument or evidence for your God belief. Hey, thanks, Drew. And Gray Eye. Oh yeah, the Spartan helmet. That's why we're talking about the Odyssey. Hi Z, how old are you?
18.
Well, that's obviously not true. Thank you, Selah, for the support. Appreciate you very much. That's fucking awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, some of the gifts are fucking awesome. Yeah. If I talk like this, maybe you'll believe that I'm an adult. I would agree, Lou. I agree. Yeah, hopefully we can have an actual debate here. Hi, Rip. How old are you?
Can you debate my baby?
Absolutely not. So if you are an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence for God, I'd be happy to chat. I'd have the debate. Currently don't have anybody serious requesting. Or maybe Casanova's not driving anymore. No, you're clearly still driving.
Yo, what's going on, my man?
Did you actually park?
Yeah. I think it's an important conversation to have.
Okay. What's the argument or evidence for God?
Well, we have to, before we talk about God, you have to talk about what exists and what existed before that.
So I just need you to give me the argument or evidence for God. I'm not going to do like, a ramble roller coaster.
So I have to elaborate on that. So we have to get into timelines and what exists and what existed before that.
So just give me the argument or the evidence for God. We don't have to play games.
So within the timeline, there's things that exist and don't exist.
I don't agree that there are any things that don't exist in the timeline.
So when you talk about God, right? God has always existed.
That's the claim.
That exists in the current moment. So if you want to backtrack, so you don't believe in God, you're a science guy?
I didn't say anything about science. What's the argument or evidence for God?
So what do you believe in then? How do you think we are as humans?
Do you even want to try to have the debate? Do you even want to discuss it? Do you need me to
Yeah,
give an argument so we actually have something to discuss?
I want to get your point of view.
Okay, so you want me to give an argument for why there is no God?
To an extent, yeah.
Okay. Let me think here. Do you believe that God is outside space and time as the creator of the universe?
I believe God is.
Okay. No, so my argument, premise one, if God exists, then God caused the universe to come into existence. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. And
God is the creator.
and if God caused the universe to come into existence, then he caused space and time to come into existence, right?
Yeah, because God is the creator.
Mm-hmm. And if he caused space and time to come into existence, he's outside space and time, as you agreed. And since all causes are inside space and time, and God is outside space and time, God can't be the cause of anything. Since he can't be the cause of anything, he can't be the cause of bringing the universe into existence. But as we said, if he exists, he did cause the universe to come into existence. Therefore, God doesn't exist.
No, my man, that's what we call you that's a straw man argument. Because of this doesn't mean that.
What did I straw man?
So an apple and an orange are both fruits.
What did I straw man?
Yeah, you did.
What did I straw man? What was the straw man?
You did a whole bunch of statements to get to a certain point. So apple and
what was the straw man?
Apple and the orange are both.
What was the straw man, Casanova? We're not moving on from this until you tell me what the straw man it was that I did, or retract the claim. So either admit that I didn't straw man anything, or tell me what the straw man was.
So you said a bunch of statements.
What was the straw man?
So if your point is strong enough to stand alone, you wouldn't have to say other statements before it.
What was the straw man?
So like you're saying.
So what was the straw man?
So like we saying before, right?
What was the straw man?
What is my proof for God?
What was the straw man, Casanova?
Cut to the point without making a lot of
so here's what's going to happen.
So I would like you to do the same thing as well.
Here's what's going to happen. The question: what was the straw man that Ogar committed, or created, or maybe we'll say appealed to?
You're saying because of this,
and now we're going to say dodges. And okay, so what was the straw man that Ogar appealed to?
So you're saying because of this, because of that, because of this and that. So that means your argument is not strong enough to stand on its own.
Okay, so there's a dodge. What was the straw man?
So you would give me the point that proves that God isn't real. So
okay, so there's a dodge number 2. What was the straw man?
Say what you say again. Say what you say again.
Okay, number 3. What was the straw man?
Say it again.
Okay, number 4. What was the straw man?
I'm asking you to repeat yourself.
Okay, there's number 5. So now you can either, because I don't even know how many dodges you did before I started counting. Now that we're at 5, I'm going to remind you that your options are to either say what the straw man was or retract the claim that there was a straw man. So
that is what straw man means, man. You're picking at points to prove.
Okay, so there's another one. So what was the straw man?
Bigger point that you're trying to prove.
So what was the straw man?
How is that not a straw man?
Do you not understand what a straw man is?
Yeah, I do.
What's a straw man? What's a straw man?
So I just said you're picking at points, and it's not correlating to the bigger point. If your point was strong enough, your argument would stand on its own.
No, that's not what a straw man is, Casanova. A straw man, Casanova, Casanova. Hello, can you hear me? I know that you can hear me because I can hear myself echoing back from your speaker. Look, a straw man is not what you're talking about. A straw man is when you misrepresent someone's position, you make a weaker version of their argument so that you can defeat the weaker version of their argument instead of their actual argument. I didn't create a straw man of anything you said. I simply gave an argument and you didn't like it. So what is your response to the argument that I gave?
So like I said, you're going to interrupt me before I speak?
What is your response to the argument that I gave?
Are you gonna interrupt me before I speak, or are you gonna let me speak?
If you're speaking, when you speak, you're actually responding and to the substance, and it's on topic. I will not interrupt you. What is your response to the argument that I gave?
Like I said, apples and oranges are both fruits, but they don't correlate.
What does that have to do with my argument?
So you're bringing up other points to prove a bigger point, but just because the other points correlate with each other, it don't correlate to the bigger argument. So you're just trying to use words to make me lose my point.
So what about what I said didn't demonstrate my claim?
So like you asked me in the beginning, right? You're saying without getting too fancy with the words, without saying too much, prove to me that your God is real. So I would like you to do the same.
I gave you the argument that God doesn't exist, and that's what you're currently not engaging with. I gave you the argument.
So
I'll put it up on the screen. If God exists, God caused the universe to come into existence. If God caused the universe to come into existence, then he caused space and time to come into existence. If he caused space and time to come into existence, then he's outside space and time. You agree with all this. If God exists outside space and time, and all causes are inside space and time, then God did not cause the universe to come into existence, and it is the case that all causes are inside space and time. Therefore, God does not exist.
Let me read what's on the screen.
Yeah, I just read it to you.
Space and time to come to the system. But you see, you're viewing time as metaphysical, man. You're viewing time as God is a part of it.
Nope.
And I think that's your problem.
Nope.
God is outside space and time, and all causes are inside space and time, then God is not. But how, if God is outside of space and time, then all causes are inside space and time, then God does not cause the universe to come into existence? What does that even mean, my man? I think you're writing. My reading comprehension is really on point. Your writing is very. I really wouldn't know how to explain it, because time is just a metaphysical thing for God as well.
What does it mean for time to be a metaphysical thing? What are you talking about?
So me and you view time as we're existing in it. So me and you are existing in time.
I just don't think you have any idea what you're talking about.
Yes, I do. So me and you are
what I'm saying. So that premise for, if God's outside space and time and all causes are inside space and time, then God did not cause the universe to come into existence. What that means is, all causes are X. God is not X. Therefore, God can't be a cause. That's what it's saying.
Yes, he can, because he could affect time and space.
No, but God, hold on. Causes are inside time and space. And since all causes are inside time and space, and God is outside time and space, God can't be a cause. He cannot stand in causal relations.
That's incorrect.
Okay, how is it possible for God to cause things when he's outside space and time and causes are inside space and time?
Due to the freedom of choice that we have, free will.
Just by freedom of choice? Explain to me how God can be a cause when he can't stand in causal relations.
So God can, but he doesn't.
Okay, well, it doesn't sound like we're going to get anything. I'll ask one more time. Do you have any meaningful response to my claim that God cannot stand in causal relations because he's outside space and time?
God can, but he doesn't. Me and you are affected by.
All right. Clearly doesn't actually have anything there. My mistake for giving too complex of an argument. Thank you very much for the support, everybody. Appreciate you immensely. Sayla going nuts. Thank you so much. Thank you to Saint, thank you so much. Sayla, Drew Fetz, Broken Tree Branch, Liz, Colette Alexandria, thank you so much. I Got Peas, appreciate you. Sayla, just going absolutely crazy, sending tons of stuff. Thank you so much, Sayla. Lem, I appreciate you. The Mineral Street, thank you so much. Owly, Goatman, Owly, No, David, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. All right, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Fair enough. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. You there, daughter? Well, apparently daughter's not connecting. All right. Once again, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Oh, yeah. I don't know what that means, Lou, but do what Lou's saying. Just claim your TikTok points, whatever that means.
Okay, listen, I'm sorry for trolling. I'm sorry for trolling.
How?
Baby loves you. Baby loves you.
Mm-hmm. So what are you getting out of this?
I don't know.
Cool. All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. All right. Oh, you get points for making comments and sending gifts? Oh, cool. Okay. Hi, Earth. How old are you?
I was thinking when Schopenhauer gave head to Emmanuel.
All right. Fair enough. Can one of the mods block that person? I don't know if you guys can find them. I don't know if I can. TikTok doesn't really give me the ability to do that from this side. Oh, I was too fast. Fair enough. All right, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Hey, JP, how old are you?
Hey, I'm 41.
Okay, sorry, give me 1 second. It was rip_pack_god_devil. That was the to the mods. It was that rip_pack_god_devil. Something. Okay. Anyway, sorry. All right, you said you're 41. What God do you believe in?
I believe in the God, Yahweh. I believe in Yahweh.
Okay, you Christian?
Yeah, you can say I'm Christian, yeah.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Okay. This is all gonna tie into it, okay?
I'm not going on a big long journey with you. Just give me the argument and evidence.
Fast. Really fast. What year were the pyramids?
No, we're not doing that. What's the argument or evidence for God?
The evidence of God is that He is all around us.
I mean, that's the claim. Well, I'm asking you to support that claim.
Well, He's around us, like
okay, cool. Well, God doesn't exist because He's not around us. So now what? Now what do we do?
Well, you have to have an experience with God in order.
Well, you can't have an experience with God because He doesn't exist. And since all we have to do is just, say it, I guess it's true now, right?
Well, is your mindset against my mindset? So
right, and that would be a horrible way to argue because we'll never make any progress. So what we should do is support our positions with arguments and evidence. What's the argument or evidence that God exists?
Everything that's around us, and that.
Do you have anything of substance, JP, or is this the best you can do? Because I'm sorry, but this is really fucking embarrassing, my guy.
Well, everything has a structure. It's not embarrassing because everything has a structure. The way we are created is structured. So there has to be a superior being in our realm that did all this. That
Okay,
made
what's
all
the
this.
what's the argument or evidence that demonstrates the truth of that claim?
The evidence is all around us. Like, for example, if you study what is quantum entanglement, quantum physics, vibration.
Well, no,
what is
no.
light.
If you study all those things, you'll find that there is no God. The evidence is all around us that there is no God. See how easy it is when that's all you have to say to support any position. I could support I could support the position that you kick dogs. Well, the evidence is all around us that JP kicks dogs, and therefore it's true that JP kicks dogs. So now you're a dog kicker. Apparently, I just proved it by your standards.
Yeah, this is not going to go nowhere. It's your perspective, you know.
That's
like,
my
it's your
point,
mindset.
JP. That's my point. It shouldn't be just about your perspective or my perspective. That doesn't get us anywhere. We need actual arguments or evidence. That way, it's not just your opinion versus my opinion. It's reality. So what's the evidence or argument that there is a God in reality, not just in your opinion?
Well, the best thing I could do is pray that you have experience. So that's going to be the best.
All right. Well, if that's the best that you could do, then I don't know what to tell you. That's not going to work because there's no God, my guy. I'm so sorry. The evidence is all around us. Is the evidence in the room with us right now? All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Hi, existing. How old are you?
Being fat as fuck is embarrassing.
Okay. Why did God make me so fat and ugly?
You mad?
Why did God make me so fat and ugly?
Low key, Schopenhauer give head a cat.
Every time. Can somebody block that idiot? Thank you. 3 people blocked him. I appreciate you, Bradley Cooper. All right, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult. And there's some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Yeah, I have no idea what the Schopenhauer thing is. Hi, Ad, how old are you?
Hey, I'm 23. How you doing, brother?
Doing just fine. What God do you believe in?
So I believe in Jesus Christ as the God.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
The virgin birth. I would love to have this dialogue. Can I ask you some questions?
What's the reason to think that that a virgin gave birth?
Well, it wasn't that a virgin gave birth, but I think this is where we separate. If we believe anything of the
So
Holy
what's the
Bible.
reason to believe in a God?
Well, may I finish?
No,
I'm not
because
letting
you're
you
off
go.
topic. You're off
Well,
topic.
no, you asked me about the virgin birth.
Right, and you said that wasn't important, so I'm going back to the
No, I
actual
didn't.
topic here. So what's the reason to believe in a God?
My brother, you're
It sounds like
beautiful
maybe I
individual.
misunderstood. So let's just
Yeah.
go back to the beginning. What's the reason to believe in God?
Yeah, so like I said, the divine virgin birth.
Okay, and what's the evidence that there was a divine virgin birth?
Historical evidence.
What
personally,
don't add. Just saying historical evidence does nothing to provide evidence. When I ask what is the evidence, you should actually be providing the evidence, not just saying there's evidence. Do you understand?
No, I understand that.
Okay,
and
cool.
you're
So
not
what's the
giving me
evidence
chance.
that there was a divine virgin birth?
You keep cutting me off.
So
my
what's the
brother. This
evidence
isn't-
that there was a divine virgin birth?
This isn't.
So what's
this
the
isn't a
evidence that there was a
dialogue.
divine virgin birth?
I mean, there's non-Christian writers. There's non-Christian.
Okay,
accounts
you're again
of
just
people-
claiming that there's evidence. I don't want you to
No,
claim that
my
there's
brother,
evidence.
my brother.
I want you to tell me what the evidence is. Provide the evidence. What is the
Brother,
evidence
you're
for a
not even letting me
divine virgin
finish.
birth?
You're not even letting me finish.
Because you're not giving me the answer to the question. I would not interrupt you if you were on topic. No, you're not.
You're looking for single word answers. Man.
All right. I'm going to ask it one more time. If your answer is anything other than providing the evidence, even if it takes you 5 minutes to do it, as long as you're actually answering and providing the evidence, I will let you talk. So for the last time, what is the evidence that there was a divine virgin birth? I cannot hear you if you're off the app. You should have ChatGPT'd this before you came up.
I'm not chat. Okay. See, this is.
So what is the evidence that there was a divine virgin birth?
I know you run through a lot of people that are just trash at.
All right, fair enough. Since yeah, I do have a lot of people that are trash at debating, and you are one of them. You got to actually give the evidence. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't ChatGPT, it was Claude or Grok or something. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Yes, Randy, they always have to go to Meta because they can't actually support anything on Substance. I don't know what you're talking about, Duck. Hi, Elsie. How old are you?
Me, I'm 48.
Okay, and what God do you believe in?
Can I ask you a quick question? How do you know God don't exist?
What God do you believe in?
I just believe that I've been blessed, so I just figured there's something out there that is spiritual, but can you just educate me just to change my mind also?
Okay, I'm just trying to nail down what you actually believe in so that what I say is relevant. Do you believe in like a religion, a God that is connected to a book, anything like that? Okay, just like just an immaterial mind that created and sustains the universe? Something simple like that? Is that correct?
I done watch a lot of Discovery Channel, and they can't really explain how we all came about, so I figured it's some kind of God or like a scripture. That's just how I see it.
Okay. Okay, so if there's a God, it created the universe, right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
I want to make sure that, because I'm going to give you the argument, and I want to give you an opportunity to disagree with any of the points. So I'll go point by point, and you let me know if you disagree or if you agree. So, number one, if God exists, God created the universe, right?
Yes.
Okay, and do you agree that if God created the universe, God created time?
Yes, created everything.
Okay, and do you agree that if time was created, then a state of existence without time changed into a state of existence with time?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's also true that a state of existence without time cannot change because change only happens in time. So since a state of existence without time can't change, and the only way for time to be created is for a state of existence without time to change, obviously time can't be created. But as we agreed, if God exists, he created time. Therefore, God doesn't exist.
Hey, you're not going to change my mind. There's something out there.
Do you have any response to the argument that you asked me to give?
That's still not sufficient enough to change my mind.
Do you have any response, Elsie? Okay, well, have a good one. You never support your position. You never support your position. And then I support my position, and they're like, well, you're not going to change my mind. Okay. All right. If you are, oh, nobody's requesting. Nobody's requesting. We got no requests. What do we do? What do we do? I stare at my phone for a while. No, currently nobody requesting. If you are 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God, feel free to come up. Don't make me start yapping about ontology, because I will do it. Realist, real guy, I would love for you to point out when I muted somebody. I would love for you to point out the last time I muted somebody, realist, real guy. Name one person that I muted today. Just a hint, you won't be able to because I didn't. All right, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. You think I muted somebody yesterday? Yeah, who did I mute yesterday? Because, spoiler alert, I didn't. Hi, Salah, how old are you?
19.
And what God do you believe in?
Allah.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Yeah, I would say psychophysical proof.
Psychophysical harmony?
No, like specifically like poop, like the sensation we get before that.
Oh. Okay. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Oh, are you talking about muting people in the comments? Yeah, people get muted in the comments. Definitely people get muted in the comments. My mods do that for sure. But I don't mute people that come up to talk to me. True, Poopman Jones. Exactly, Sayla. Oh no, people who you know use like hate speech and shit get muted. Oh my god. Hey, Natanic. Glad to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Well, apparently we defeated all of the theists. Matt's son. I don't know what you're talking about. My dad's name is definitely not Matt. Oh my god, the crazy, or not crazy, but like most weird fucking thing. My dad showed up at my work yesterday. So I got a message from one of my coworkers. Your dad is here? It's so fucking weird. He just wanted to yap. Yeah, my dad just showed up at my job randomly yesterday. I didn't realize it, but he had texted me. I wasn't looking at my phone. He had texted me, "Are you at work today?" And I never responded because I never saw. I didn't notice that I had a text message. And then I just get a message like, "Hey, your dad's here." And apparently the employee that my dad talked to didn't believe that he was really my dad. He didn't really need to tell me anything. He just, I don't know, he's just being a dad. It was funny. But all right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Hi, Abdi, you're 18,
what's up,
is that
Albert?
correct?
I am 18.
And Muslim?
It's been some time. How are you?
It's been a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
You're Muslim,
yeah,
correct?
I'll do my best. Sorry?
You're Muslim, correct?
Yeah, I'm still Muslim.
Just making sure. All right, what have you
Yeah.
got?
Yeah, I've done some more research, and what interested me was the tag argument. What do you think of that one?
Tag?
Yeah, tag.
I think it's question begging.
Oh, okay.
The biggest issue with tag, in my opinion, is that it's basically it's saying my worldview says that, you know, X needs to be grounded in a specific way, and your worldview doesn't ground X in that way, therefore your worldview is wrong. But it doesn't make sense for me to try to critique, like, it's like trying to do an internal critique of a worldview from inside the wrong worldview. Does that make sense? Because, like, if my worldview says that all worldviews are wrong unless they have X in them, and then you have a worldview that doesn't require X, it's not going to be compelling for me to tell you your worldview is wrong for not having X when you have a completely fine, coherent, consistent worldview that doesn't require X, right? So, like, me telling you your worldview doesn't have a thing that my worldview says it needs to have is never going to be meaningful to you. So
Yeah, that's fair.
So
That
tag
makes sense.
saying atheist worldviews don't have a thing that atheist worldviews don't think they need is never going to be
All right.
compelling.
Sounds good. All right. And then can I ask a question if that's fine?
Yeah,
Not really like
absolutely.
an argument. Yeah. So, I'm not like trying to get a point. I'm just trying to understand. Like, what I googled was like that nature is uniform, but for me, like obviously I believe in God. It makes sense for why nature is uniform. But why? How would you say? What's like the justification for that? Maybe for you or like for general atheists. And honestly, there isn't one. I'm just like curious to learn if that's fine.
I don't understand why we would need one or like what that even means. Like, I don't really understand what the question
Sorry.
even is.
Yeah, sorry. I might be unclear because I found out someone called like David Hume or something.
Yeah,
Where
I'm
he
not
has, like,
familiar
the-
with Hume.
Yeah, doesn't that like disprove the like argument?
Are you
or
just talking about the
justification
problem
for
of
it?
induction?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
From
I don't
my
think that the problem of induction is a problem. All we have to do is look at it probabilistically.
Okay, got it.
So because Hume's problem of induction is just saying that induction isn't deduction, and like I agree, induction isn't deduction, because the big issue that Hume had was you can't go from probabilistic premises to a certain conclusion. So what I would say is, yeah, we'll just go from probabilistic premises to a probabilistic conclusion, right? So like if my premise is based on inductive evidence, then my confidence in the conclusion is going to be proportioned to the strength of the inductive evidence that supports it. And I think that that's a really easy way to get around the quote unquote problem of induction. That's like
All right,
that's actually what Bayes' theorem is for. Like that's why so
Oh,
many
true.
philosophers are Bayesian, because that gets out of the problem of induction, because you just turn it into probabilistic assessment, and then like I said, you just proportion the credence in the position to the strength of the probability that supports it.
Got it. Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, that was it. Thank you, and I'll probably be up. I'll research some more and maybe come up with an argument next time. But
All
for
right.
now, I don't have anything. So have a good day.
Yeah, have a good
Bye.
one. Take care. Fair enough. Oh shit! I always forget that I actually have to type or click into my notes to type in them. Problem of induction. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to do ontology. Yep. Okay, I don't really have a ton to say about ontology, but okay, here's my whole thing right now. So like, there's this whole thing in ontology where like the common view is the Quinean view, right? Where basically what Quine says is existing is what it means to exist is to be the value of a bound variable. So like something you quantify over in logic. Like for example, if we said there are 7 apples, if you translated that into logical language, you would be saying that there exists some x1, x2, x through x up to x7, such that each one is an apple and none of them equal each other, right? And so since you're quantifying over a bound variable that is an apple, that means apples exist. You're committed to the existence of apples. And since you're quantifying over numbers in a lot of cases, then you would say numbers exist. But the thing that I don't like about this Quinean approach is that you could just paraphrase your way out of your ontological commitments, right? So you could just say like if I don't want to believe in numbers, I could just paraphrase the statement that there are 7 apples a different way without using the number. And then now if I translate that into logical language, I don't have to quantify over the number. And I think that just is really fucking annoying. I think that it basically turns ontology into vibes. Like it's just cope. So like I don't like the Quinean approach because of that. There's this philosopher I need to read. I'm finishing the book on ontology right now, and then the next book I'm going to read is by this philosopher Jody Ozuni. And my understanding of his view is that ontology, like that which exists, is that which has ontological independence. And so a lot of people say numbers exist because if you don't have quantities of things. Okay, so Kaio, I like some Carnap stuff. Like I like some not like classical Carnapian, but like neo-Carnapian, where we get rid of the synthetic analytic distinction. Like that's not connected, I don't think. And that was like Carnap's whole thing. But if I instead say like there's a difference between the internal and external questions about ontology. Like, I'm fine with that. I just still want to have an answer to the external question. So I'm fine with the Carnapian approach of saying that like numbers exist in math because like inside that system, yes, you have to quantify over numbers, and so it makes sense and it's objectively true in mathematical systems to say that numbers, you know, exist in that way. And so that would be like the internal Carnapian thing. And then the external question, which the neo-Carnapian view is like, okay, that's the difficult question. That's where I think I would be taking the external question is answered by ontological independence. So that's kind of like the view that I'm currently I don't want to say developing, but that's like the way that I'm thinking about it. And eventually, like, you know, after reading some more, we'll see if that's the view that I settle on. But that's where I'm at right now. I just really don't like the way that the Quinian view basically just like gives you an escape hatch for anything you don't want to have in your ontology. Like, I just feel like it's like, it stops it from being an actual question of what exists and turns it more into like, what do you want to say exists? And then we're just going to let you, you know, paraphrase away anything that you don't want to be ontologically committed to. That bugs the shit out of me. But yeah, so anyway, so like, I really think that there may be some issues with it, but I really think that this idea of ontological independence makes a lot of sense. That kind of preserves a nominalist view where you don't have to commit to the existence of numbers because numbers don't have ontological independence. The only sense of which that numbers exist is because you have to refer to things, right? Like, if there are 7 apples on the table, that concept of sevenness or whatever only exists insofar as it is grounded in those 7 apples or in those apples, but it doesn't have its own independent existence. So that's why I would say I don't think that numbers exist, because they don't have any ontological independence. So I really like that view. It's possible that there's some big problem with it that I don't know yet, and maybe I'll have to shift, but that's kind of like where I'm leaning ontologically right now. That's something that I've just been thinking a lot about because I'm reading this book. I think that that Carnap approach makes a lot of sense. I just also want an answer to the external question, and I think that independence gives that answer. So I don't know. That's my my ontology yap for the day. Do I align with Ian's philosophical views? I align with Ian on some stuff, but not certain things. Like, Ian is a Platonist. Ian believes in abstract objects, specifically numbers, and I'm a nominalist. I do not believe in abstract objects. I think though that Ian has now been calling themselves a priority monist, and I am also leaning towards priority monism. Ian is an ethical realist. I'm also a realist, but we have different views on realism. We're both virtue ethicists. We both believe in virtue ethics. However, like I said, they get there in a different way. But I don't know. There's a bunch of views we align on and a few that we don't. Okay, we do have a person requesting. Give me 1 sec. I'll bring them up. Well, I don't know anything about how cool Ian is. I just watch their streams. Blitz is anomalous. That's true. That's my understanding. And Blitz is also a priority monist. Actually, Blitz is who I heard about priority monism from, and I am leaning towards that view. But anyway, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. I don't know who Ice Cream is.
What's up, man?
All right, fair enough. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. I'm not super familiar with structuralism, Goatman. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support. I guess I've probably been ignoring this for a little bit. I'm sorry. Thank you to what we got, Lou and KK Vinaroso, Jungle Cucumber. Thank you so much. Poopman Jones, Saintly. I don't know what this is. Nadine, thank you. Dabnese, Roger, thank you so much. Realist Real Guy, supporting Adfasak. Thanks for supporting the guest, I suppose. Resurrected Skeptic, thank you. Thank you. Whoa, hey, Ad supported. That surprises me. Thank you. Jennifer Johnson, appreciate your support very much. Thank you so much. 24 Carat, Hop Count. Lou again, thank you. Discordant Rhyme, appreciate you guys so much. Give me 1 second. I can bring up the next person. Okay. W to everybody. W the decon community indeed. All right, if you're in the guest queue, or reality part based on using language and algebra of words, yeah, it gives emotions and actions. Play with others. Yeah, I think I'm with you, Brian. Okay, if you're in the guest queue, please be an adult and have an argument or evidence for God. Hi, Ryan. How old are you? Well, hi. Did he fix the argument after I told him what the problem was? He ran the same shitty version. That's funny. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Let's see if Sam will connect. Hi, Sam. How old are you?
I'm 18.
And what God do you believe in?
Hold on. Wait, can you say that again? I can't hear you.
What God do you believe in?
I'm actually not sure. I didn't come here to disprove you. I just have questions about some stuff. Wondered what you thought.
Do you believe that there's an immaterial mind that created and sustains the universe?
Yeah, I believe in a God. I don't know which one.
Okay, and what would you say is the reason to believe in a God? Or a reason to believe in a God?
Well, I believe that it is factually impossible that intelligence and consciousness can come from an explosion of gas and dust being the Big Bang.
Yeah, nobody thinks that, well, first off, the Big Bang isn't an explosion, and nobody thinks that consciousness comes from the Big Bang. That's a weird, confused way to talk about it.
There wasn't consciousness at the same time as it, so it had to have come after it.
Yeah, it came after the Big Bang, correct. And possibly before, who knows?
I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that if we're in a cyclical universe, it's possible that there was a previous universe that also had consciousness in it.
Like the universe goes away and then a new one comes?
Well, right. Like if we're in a cyclical universe, it could be the case that there's a big bounce, big crunch, right? Like you could have the bounce, or what we're calling the Big Bang, where everything expands, and then at a certain point it could crunch back in and then expand again. So it's possible then in a previous expansion when that there was consciousness. That's all I was saying.
I believe the only answer that we can find to what started it would be an intelligent mind before all of it.
Right. So you're saying that consciousness can't exist unless there's an intelligent mind to create it?
Yeah.
Okay. So then that means that because your God has consciousness, right?
Probably.
Okay. So then that means that your God must have been created. But if it's a God, then it's ultimate. If it has a creator, it's not ultimate. So by your premise here, it's what I call a Trojan premise. Because if we follow the logic, the entailments of the premise that you gave, it's going to disprove your position. So, like, for example, you're going to say consciousness cannot exist unless it is created by an intelligent mind. God has consciousness.
Well, I kind of have a different theory.
Well, hold on. I'm just trying to show you the entailment of this commitment.
Yeah. Go on.
God has consciousness. So we can say God's consciousness. I can't spell. Consciousness was created by an intelligent mind. And we're going to say if God exists, God is ultimate. And if God is ultimate, his consciousness, I was right, was not created by an intelligent mind, and therefore God does not exist. So, like I said, this is what I would call a Trojan premise here, because it's going to entail the falsity of your view.
Okay, I see. I do you know what Gnosticism is?
I mean, vaguely.
Yeah.
My understanding of Gnosticism is that they take the idea of the demiurge, say that there's like an evil god, and I don't know, and then a bunch of Christian stuff.
So I've been Christian for the past many years of my life, and I recently learned about this Gnosticism, and I don't know if I'm Gnostic, but it's just the beliefs of it have changed what I've seen, and or the beliefs of Gnosticism have changed what I thought of Christianity.
Well, my issue is, why should we think that there's a God in the first place? Because if there isn't any God, then we don't have to worry about whether it's the Gnostic version of God or some other version of God, because there isn't a God.
Okay.
So why should we think that there's a God in the first place?
Where else could it have come from?
Well,
even if it's not God,
that's a question.
Something would have created it.
No, I mean, wait. What do you mean by it? The universe?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why should we think that the universe had a creator, or that it came into existence at all?
Because we're here.
How does that give us a reason to think that the universe began to exist?
Time passes. You can age unless.
And how does this connect to the universe coming into existence?
I mean, time is a thing. I mean, there has to have been a start.
Why?
To it.
Why does there have to have been a start to time? I don't think that's actually possible. Well, it depends on what you mean by a start to time. I should clarify. I think it's possible that we have a universe that has a first temporal moment, but I don't think it's possible for that moment to begin to exist.
What do you mean?
So I think that we live. Are you familiar with like the different theories of time, A theory, B theory, that kind of thing?
Nah.
Okay. So the typical common sense view of time is typically what would be called A theory, and more specifically presentism. The idea that the present moment is the only real moment. Past moments are present moments that aren't real anymore, and future moments are present moments that aren't real yet. That's like the common sense view of time. That's the way we usually think about time. But what physics tells us is that, in fact, there is no privileged present moment. That doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a universal now. And because there's no right now, that means that different moments are now for different observers at different times. Like, there can be two events that are simultaneous to you that aren't simultaneous to me. And since it's relative like that, time itself is relative. Different moments exist in relation to other moments.
How would there be the two events that happened, and it's different for me and for you? How would that be different? If something happened at the same time for me, it would happen at the same time for you.
Right. I'm telling you that physics tells us that's not the case. It's actually, it's objectively true that two events can be simultaneous for one observer and not for another. So simultaneity is relative. And because simultaneity is relative, moments exist that moments are equally real, even if they're not happening at the same time, or from one perspective, they may be happening at the same time, but they're existing now, like their temporal location doesn't change how real they are. So just like 10 miles away from me exists and is actually just as real as the location I'm in right now, 10 minutes from now is also just as real as the moment right now. It's just not here, right? So just like 10 miles away from me is just as real as here, it's just not spatially located here. 10 minutes from now is equally real as right now, it's just not temporally located here. So that's the view that all moments of time are equally real. We would have this big block universe, and in the view that there's a first and last moment of time, we would have something like a Hartle-Hawking state, which I would have to appeal to physics, tell you to look up physics for a deep understanding of what that means. But essentially, it would be like these caps is a way we could think of it on either end of the universe where there is no time. But the whole thing, the whole universe all exists and is all real. It's just temporally we have the subjective experience of time passing. So objectively, time doesn't actually pass. It's just the type of creature we are, we experience a subjective passing of time. And so what I'm saying is that the whole four-dimensional block of the universe could exist, there could be a first moment and there could be a last moment over here, but those never begin to exist. The whole thing just exists without beginning. And anything that experiences time would be somewhere, have temporal location and experience however much time it experiences.
Well, you can't travel to 10 minutes in the future, like right now, You
Yeah,
can
because it's
travel
not
10
right now.
miles away.
Yeah, but I can't be there when I'm here. In the same way, I can't be 10 minutes from now when I'm here now because it's not right now. So I would have to travel to 10 minutes from now in order to get there, and the only way to do that is to wait 10 minutes. The same way, in order to be the place that's 10 miles away, I have to travel there. Now, it's different traveling through space than it is traveling through time. We have more control over how we travel through space than how we travel through time. I can go forward and backward in space, left and right, all that, up and down, but I can't do that in time. But that doesn't, that's not important to the analogy.
Yeah. If a God exists, it probably would be able to go beyond time. So,
well, it would have to exist outside of time. But then the problem that we have there is that since change only happens inside time, an atemporal God would not be able to change. And if God can't change, he can't go from not creating to creating, which means that either God was always creating the universe, or either he was always creating the universe or he never created the universe. But the problem is, if he always created the universe, then the universe never came into existence, so it actually wasn't created. So the only options are either God didn't create the universe or God didn't create the universe. But if God exists, he did create the universe, so it's legitimately not possible for a God to exist, as far as I can tell.
So you think that if a God would be timeless, that it would just be frozen, like it would, because there isn't a time there, it wouldn't be able to just do anything because
correct, it could not change.
It could do something.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the arguments that I give against God is the fact that because most people have this idea of God as all-knowing, or at least knowing some things. But if God has knowledge, he has a mind. If he has mind, he has at least one mental state, if not a series of changing mental states. But he's outside of time, since he's the creator of time. And change only happens in time, so he can't experience change, which means his mental states can't change. Acting on your will requires a change of mental states. And since God's mental states can't change, he can't act on his will. If he can't act on his will, he can't create. And if he didn't create, he doesn't exist.
So if humans are under time, and like we can't, move 10 minutes in the past, 10 minutes in the future, like right now. But if a God was above the limit of time, it wouldn't be. It could be that not time doesn't exist, but it can just be where it wants to, I guess. Or
it's either the case that God experiences the passage of moments, or he doesn't. If it's the case that God experiences the passage of moments, then that means that he exists in time. If his existence is in time, then he's not ultimate anymore, right? Because he didn't create time. In order for God to be God, he's ultimate, right? He's the cause and or ground for everything else that exists. But if time doesn't depend on God because God depends on time, then that means God's not ultimate. So in order for God to be ultimate, he has to be outside time. But if he's outside time, you can't change. And if you can't change, you can't create.
Okay. I want to go back to where do you think everything started?
I don't think there was a start.
Oh, yeah. So
even if I don't know for sure whether there's a first temporal moment. There could be, there might not be. It could be that the past is infinite. I don't know. But either way, I don't think that the universe ever came into existence. Also, I'm so sorry. Thank you for getting me to the goal, the gift goal, everybody. Appreciate you.
Woo!
Thank you, Goatman. I know, right? Dude, I got to 6,000 followers today. I'm fucking stoked.
Oh, heck yeah, bro.
That's sick. Anyway.
You're the first person that's let me on their live.
Oh, well, I appreciate the conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, I'm sorry. I interrupted you while you were trying to make a point.
Let me remember what.
I know, I'm an asshole. I'm sorry.
What do you think comes after death?
I think it's exactly like it was before we were born.
Okay.
Just non-existence.
I spoke to someone and they believed that too. And it didn't make sense to me. This person believed that like human life, the first ever organism came from a mix of chemicals at the right time, and then it created a creature, and then that creature just evolved into everything now.
Yeah.
That you believe that?
Yeah, we know how that works. There were researchers who recently created a living cell because we know what it takes for living cells to be. Like, they're just chemical reactions. And so in a lab, they were able to create a living cell from scratch because all it is chemical reactions. So they just put the right, chemical materials together in the right configuration, and it was alive. It was a living cell. And we also have lots of researchers trying to understand how life began, like the first self-replicating molecules and how those became the first cells and so forth. And I mean, yeah, we know how those steps, or how that process, we have a lot of information about how that process works. Let's imagine that there's 10 steps that it has to go from, the first self-replicating molecule to the first organism. And we know steps 1 through 4, 6, and 8 and 9. Well, we just because we don't know 5, 7, and 10 doesn't mean that it couldn't have happened. It just means that there are some questions we don't know the answers to yet, but we have a really good understanding of how a lot of the process works. And there is a guy here on TikTok. He goes by Skog, Skog, and he talks a lot about abiogenesis research. Now, I don't have his knowledge, so I wouldn't try to speak on the stuff that he talks about. But that information is out there, and it is something that we are getting more and more knowledge about. And yeah, I agree. Go, man. Skog is awesome. Anyway, yeah, it's something we know a lot about, and we may not know everything, but we do know. To hear Skog tell it, it's actually just because of the conditions of the way the Earth was back around the time that life would have started. It actually makes a lot of sense that life would start. It was not difficult for the chemical reactions that needed to happen. It was, in fact, the most likely chemical reactions to happen given the circumstances.
So I have two things now. So do you think there's aliens? It just happened. The same thing happened to us that happened somewhere else.
It seems insanely unlikely that there wouldn't be.
Yeah. Okay. Second thing, what would be the reason? Like, what if there isn't a God? And things are like that? What's the good and bad? What stops me from just, going around killing everyone? What makes that a bad thing?
Well, I mean, the same thing that makes it a bad thing if there is a God. Either it's bad or it's not. But the fact that people could disagree with you, like, you agree that even if morals come from God, people still do bad things, right?
Yeah.
So even the existence of a God and the existence of, imagining that there are objective morals that come from a God, even though I don't know what that would even mean, that doesn't make sense. But imagining that was the case, the Holocaust still happened. Genocide still happened all the time. People abuse children. Sex trafficking happens. Like, all these horrifically evil things. People get tortured to death. All these horrifically evil things happen anyway. So, like, just saying, well, if there was no God, people could go around raping and murdering. Well, yeah. Yeah, they can. And unfortunately, in the worldview where there is a God, that happens anyway. So there not being a God doesn't change that. There's no difference between the God worldview and the not God worldview in that way. The only difference is, if there's a God, then you have this idea that there's some kind of like cosmic justice or something. But there is no cosmic justice under any God worldview that I know of. Like a God that would send people to hell for lying, but let Hitler into heaven, into paradise for eternity because he converted before he died. Yeah. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, Jeffrey Dahmer converted in jail after murdering and eating people. Do you think that he deserves to be in heaven, but a teenager that lied to their teacher about chewing bubblegum and then died in a car accident should go to hell because they didn't believe in Jesus? Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. That's the one thing that made me not turn from Christianity, I guess, but just made me question it, is that, like, if Christians believe that the God is perfect and all-knowing and everything like that, but if he was, there wouldn't be bad. Like, he could have made free will without bad choices that could have been created if he was perfect, but it wasn't. So like we're here now and we're stuck in bodies.
Yeah. So I don't think, number one, I also don't think that like objective morals cannot come from a God. So if there are objective morals, they don't come from God. Because if morals come from a God, then they are dependent on that God's stances. But if morals are stance dependent, that's the very definition of subjective. So if morals come from God, they're subjective. If morals are objective, then it doesn't matter whether a God exists or not. They would be the same objective morals. I believe that our morals are grounded in the type of being we are. I think that morals come from, like, I think moral evaluations are just evaluations of the ways that we behave in regards to our interactions with each other, with other agents. And I think that there are truths about, us having reasons to act in some ways and not in others, based on the type of being that we are. We are rational social creatures. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so to be a rational social creature means that I'll just give this argument. So I'm a I'm a reflective agent. If I'm a reflective agent, then my ultimate goal is to live a good life, a life that I can accurately evaluate as having been a good life. If my ultimate goal is that good life that I can accurately evaluate as a good life, then all things considered, I have reason to act in accordance with virtue, because being virtuous is what's most likely to lead to a good life that I can accurately evaluate as having been a good life. And if all things considered, I have reason to do something, then it's accurate to say that I ought do that thing. So because I'm a reflective agent, I ought act in accordance with virtue. So I have a moral obligation as a reflective agent to act in accordance with virtue. But if my reflective agency is enough to give me that obligation, then it must be the case that all reflective agents have an inherent obligation to act in accordance with virtue. So my position is that all reflective agents have an inherent obligation to act in accordance with virtue.
Okay.
And that's where I think morals come from.
So I believe that I am a soul inside of a human body. I don't believe I am the same. Like, the thing in my head that's thinking is different than the thing talking to you. I don't.
Is there any reason to believe that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Ooh, hold on. Maybe? I mean, I can think.
While you think about it, I'll just say that the only reason that I'm aware of in philosophy why that, like, just thinking about this from like an academic philosophical perspective, the only reason that I'm aware of that people believe in souls, academically, is because it explains identity. Because identity is really weird. Personal identity and endurance of personal identity over time is really weird without a soul. And so that's typically why philosophers will believe in souls even when they don't believe in a God, because it kind of gets rid of that weird problem with personal identity. Now, I think that there are weird questions about personal identity because there aren't souls, but I personally don't find that as a compelling reason to believe in a soul, just because, like, there are hard questions that we might not currently have answers to if we don't believe in souls. Doesn't actually sound like a reason to me to believe in souls. It just sounds like it's saying that, I don't know, it's convenient to believe in souls, but I don't want to believe things because it's convenient. But from my perspective, as far as I know, that's the best argument that I've heard of for why to believe in souls. I don't know of any better argument than that, and I don't think that's a good argument.
If there wasn't souls, like if that wasn't a thing, what would differentiate us? We're all just human, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like most other animals, we're all similar.
Oh, what would differentiate us from other animals?
From other humans.
Okay, now I'm confused. I don't understand what you're asking. Like, I don't know why I would need a soul for me to be a different person than you. I am this collection. I am this collection of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you are that collection of stuff. And just because none of the stuff that makes up me or you is a soul doesn't change the fact that you are a different set of stuff than I am.
Okay.
It would just be that one of the stuffs that makes us up would be a soul if there were souls, but I don't see how that impacts the ability to differentiate us.
Anyways, I think that might be where I'm going.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the conversation. If
Appreciate your time.
you don't have an argument that you want to discuss at some point in the future, you're welcome to come back. I appreciate good faith conversations.
I'm gonna drop that follow. You already know.
All right, I appreciate it. Take care of yourself,
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah. Have a good day. Wait, do I have to like leave this?
Oh, well, I just dropped you, so sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna be kind to people when they actually discuss substance. And did you notice what Sam did that whole time? He discussed the substance. We were actually on topic. I didn't have to like drag him back to the substance at any point in the conversation. I don't even remember what we all talked about. Okay. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God.
Can I put my balls on your fat forehead, you fat bitch?
I think I'm going to pass. Thanks, though. I always appreciate someone asking for consent. What a considerate king. Yeah. W consent, absolutely. Oh, Red got it. Yeah. I agree joy is my purpose. Active, that's the word I was looking for. Active consent is very hot. All right. So I once, and I think I've mentioned this before, I once did actually, okay, so I was on tour with one of my bands one time, and I woke up with the drummer from one of the other bands on the tour. He had his fucking balls on my forehead. So I have had that happen before, and it is not fun. There was no consent in that situation. Don't do that to people. It was not good. It was not a good time. But unfortunately, yeah, drummers, exactly. Photos, I did not take a photo. Anyway. Yeah, I was pretty upset. About it. But I don't know. I look back and laugh now. I mean, it's kind of being on tour. Definitely not something I would endorse doing to anybody, though. Don't go do that to anybody. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God.
Did you like when he put his balls on your forehead? You fat
No,
bitch?
I just got done saying that I didn't like that, but thanks for asking. Shit happens, man. Fun times. Yeah. All right. So seems like we kind of ran through everybody that would want to talk today, so I'm going to go ahead and call the stream there, but I appreciate you guys so much. Genuinely, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Oh, I should run through really quick. Poppy Loco, thank you so much. And thank you 24 Karat, Production Room, Cake Against the Machine, Lou, La Paquette, Utterly Holy, Hourglass, Goatman, Nick, Martin, Glory, Kill Eclipse, Discordant Rhyme, Hop Count. Thank you guys so much for the support. Sincerely appreciate you. the last thing that I always want to say at the end of my streams is just a reminder that tomorrow is not guaranteed. So just remember that you don't know how many more opportunities you'll have to let your family and friends know how much